You know that feeling, when something just doesn't feel right between you and your partner, but you can't quite put your finger on it? The conversations feel shallow, the silence is too long, and even when you're together, it's like you're miles apart. Before you start questioning their feelings or picking fights over small things, stop. Take a breath. And ask yourself, when was the last time I was truly present with them? It's easy to blame the other person when things feel off. Maybe they've been distant, or their responses have been short, or they just don't seem as engaged as they used to be. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Sometimes the disconnect starts with us. Think about the last time you two spent time together. Were you there, fully, completely, or were you just existing in the same space? Were you listening or just waiting for your turn to speak? Were your eyes on them, or were they glued to your phone, your laptop, the TV in the background? We live in a world of constant distractions. Notifications buzz in our pockets, social media feeds never end, and even when we're physically with someone, our minds are often somewhere else. We tell ourselves we're multitasking, that we can scroll and listen at the same time, but the truth is, we can't. Not really. And over time, those little moments of half attention add up. They create a gap. A quiet, growing space where connection used to be. So before you assume the worst, before you decide they're pulling away or the spark is gone, try this. Put your phone down. Look them in the eyes. And just be there. Ask them how their day was and actually listen to the answer. Not the quick fine they might say at first, but the real stuff. The tiny frustrations, the small wins, the things they didn't even realize were weighing on them until someone asked. Hold their hand while they talk. Nod. Laugh at their stories. Let them see in your face that you care. Reconnection doesn't always require grand gestures. Doesn't need a fancy date night or an expensive gift. Sometimes it's as simple as 5 minutes of undivided attention. Conversation where you're not just hearing but listening. A moment where you choose them over the noise of the world. Because here's the thing, love isn't just about being together. It's about showing up, fully, intentionally, day after day. It's about looking at each other and saying in 1,000 little ways, "You matter to me." Right now, nothing else does. So if your relationship feels off lately, don't panic. Don't jump to conclusions. Just check in. Put down the distractions. Reach for their hand. And remind each other what it feels like to be seen. Coffee was lukewarm, the way it always was by the time she remembered to take a sip. Across the table, Mark scrolled through his phone, thumb moving absently over the screen. Sarah watched him, waiting for him to look up. He didn't. This is how it happens, she thought. Not with a fight, not with some dramatic betrayal, but like this, slowly, quietly, in the space between words left unsaid. "Mark," she said. "Yeah." His eyes stayed on his phone. She hesitated. Part of her wanted to snap, "Put that thing down and talk to me." But another part, the tired part, just sighed. Maybe it wasn't worth the argument. Maybe this was just how things were now. But then she remembered something. A year ago, on a random Tuesday, they'd sat on the couch together, his arm around her, her head on his shoulder, talking about nothing and everything. No phones. No TV. Just them. And it had felt good. Easy. Like they were really there with each other. When had they stopped doing that? She reached across the table and gently placed her hand over his screen. He blinked, finally looking up. "Hey," she said softly. "Tell me about your day." For a second, he looked confused. Then something in his face shifted. He set the phone down. "Actually," he said, "it was kind of a rough one." And just like that, the distance between them shrank. It wasn't magic. It didn't fix everything. But it was a start. Because that's the thing about connection, it doesn't disappear all at once. It fades in the small moments we don't notice until they've piled up. The half-listened to stories. The meals eaten in silence while staring at screens. The "how was your day?" asked out of habit, not real curiosity. We think love is about the big things, the anniversaries, the vacations, the grand gestures. But really, it's made of tiny, everyday choices. The choice to put down the phone. The choice to listen even when you're tired. The choice to say, you are more important than whatever's on that screen. So if your relationship feels off lately, don't jump to conclusions. Don't assume the worst. Just check in. Put your hand over theirs. Look them in the eyes. And remind each other what it feels like to be seen. The rest will follow.